Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Martial Arts History. The martial art for today is Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is a form of martial arts that deals with a close counter situation, so most fights go to the ground. So I always recommend anybody to learn, grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. It's so beneficial, especially for women. If you can learn how to be technical and smart about how you move in case you're ever in any situation that you don't want to be in, and obviously for men as well. It's really difficult sometimes when there are bigger opponents than you, but if you understand the technicalities of an art like jiu-jitsu, you can really get out of some situations. So it's really an incredible art, and I'm so excited to share some information with you today. So it's a Japanese form of martial arts, and it's characterized by the use of little to no weapons. The name Jiu-Jitsu originated in the 17th century, and then it gained global recognition for techniques related to grappling or principles of grappling. This method of combat actually came about when the people wanted to fight back against the samurai when feudalism was at its peak. Ju in Jiu-Jitsu means soft, gentle, or flexible. And this meaning hints at one of the key elements in Jiu-Jitsu, which is disarming the opponent and using their own strengths against them. It was during the Sengoku time period, alongside the Muromachi time period, that the idea of Jiu-Jitsu was culminated. It was developed to serve the purpose of an effective means of defense in close combat on the battlefield. This was particularly useful in battles where weapons weren't present. Originally, Jiu-Jitsu included Tekenochi Ryu to help counterattack swords or knives. There was a shift in the social and political climate in the 17th century in Japan, and laws imposed meant that the use of weapons for destruction were being curtailed to reinforce an era of peace. And this was vital to establishing a form of combat that could still help a person defend themselves regardless of the use of a weapon. So what derived of this change is that Jiu-Jitsu went on to expand the library of techniques which aimed at inflicting specific areas of the body, most importantly the upper body. And more striking techniques were introduced at that time as well. But when the 18th century came about, these techniques were actually considered obsolete, as they expended too much energy and weren't considered to be as effective as the initial movements. So at that time, Jiu-Jitsu went back to focusing on distracting the person in a way for them to then be able to take advantage and get the opponent in a grapple or lock for them to have control over. The ranking method with Jiu-Jitsu is, based off of the skill level, and they are awarded different colors of belts. The most notable practitioners are the Gracie family. And then there's Marcus Buchecha Almeida, who has a countless number of achievements such as World Jiu-Jitsu champ, Pan American champion. The art of Jiu-Jitsu has not remained just a combative sport. It's very well spread throughout society, and it's in so many different films and shows. It's very popular. And I think it's popular because it shows a more realistic approach to defense. Like I said before, most real fights go to the ground very quickly, so by using Jiu-Jitsu, it just seems a little more real, and I think people can relate to that. The techniques that you learn make you feel very powerful because you can get out of certain situations, and you realize that it's the technique that matters so much, and obviously if somebody's way bigger than you and they know technique as well, it's going to be a little different. But you have way more control knowing good technique as opposed to not knowing anything at all, obviously. And I always think it's important, like I said, to have an understanding of self-defense. I'm always talking about this, and especially on the ground. So I think it's very important to learn some ground skills, and there are a few basic movements that you can learn that are fairly simple, such as bridging, shrimping, side mount, or escaping side mount, and standing guard pass. You can work on all of those and actually just have a partner, and you can learn some stuff off of YouTube. There's a lot of tutorials. It's a really good workout because it's a full body workout when you're, having to deal with somebody else's weight. It can be a very good workout. So I would, focus on like the basic moves of Jiu-Jitsu and practice them and just get comfortable, going through them, and then maybe take a class. You might feel a little more comfortable after you've watched some videos on it. So all the movements incorporate grip, control, angles, momentum, and force, which allow it to be such a concise and disciplined skill to harness. So like I said, those moves are fairly basic, but to master anything, you have to do it a lot, obviously. So like I said, it's a really good workout and you can learn some self-defense at the same time. Another thing I love about Jiu-Jitsu is it makes you realize how much of a shield or armor your body can be when you know how to use it properly, not just for attacking or doing cool moves. Like Jiu-Jitsu is so cool to actually just protect yourself, and I think that's more important than anything. Like, we never want to fight. That's not what it's about. It's about learning how to defend yourself, and Jiu-Jitsu is one of the best. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Please do leave your comments down below and add any additional information that you would like to. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that now, and if you have, hit the notification bell, and thank you for subscribing. If you want to subscribe to my email list, there's a link for you down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.